approaching perfection. There's a system approaching perfection.
Texas at Float Fest 2022. And we're talking with Danny Sessom, Hush.is. We're going to find out about that. You know, we're going to talk to Danny Sessom. He's a world Western Hemisphere traveler, you know, and at Narcapoco, he's a big hit down there. And he's up in Texas now. Central Texas entrepreneur gone a narco-nomad, living as free as I desire on my own terms. The Ron Paul craze brought him to crypto, and crypto brought him to untethered freedom. He still intermittently produces the episodes of The Crypto Show that he's well known for, and he does it intermittently, whatever the hell he feels like it, and work on various humanitarian and charity projects. You know, Danny's always known he's taking care of the less privileged, and he puts a lot of effort into it, too. I do, this is him writing it, so I do travel blog on YouTube called NRV Adventure. NRV, Anarchist RV
It sounds
Adventure.
like anarchy, but it's NRV. Wait, I don't want to scare away the normies.
No, that's awesome. NRV. NRV Adventure. That's cool, man. You know, where he travels around the U.S. and Mexico on Bitcoin and other cryptos. He currently works on marketing for Hush.is, which we're going to talk about, the most extremely private cryptocurrency and messaging system on the planet. Messaging. We'll talk about that. Hush has the highest set and best practices to guard against data leakage. I'm also releasing a privacy coin that is a fork of Hush called Dragon X, as well as meme coin called Monero. Not Monero, Monero. Shitcoins.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, ain't that some shit? Monero. We're talking about that. It's a really cool idea. On the Aspire blockchain, whatever that is, we'll find out. Monero.io. Danny is speaking at, and you know, a lot of he's going to be extreme privacy here at Float Fest. Now, is that today?
It was yesterday.
Last night. Oh, I missed
yeah.
that. Of course, that's what we get to talk about now. And I get a special version of Hush.is. Extreme privacy is what his presentation was. Okay, you'll see some pictures up here. I took the drone out and just did, some pictures. They went big RV this year. I mean, they got their wagon, circle, train, whatever, out there, and parties all over, and you just, walk in and, have another party. They got the VIP tent, which is, fortunately we get, free, and, how much alcohol can they serve? And they're doing a pretty good job, give them a good tip, and, going, oh, that's a good picture, Donna. Oh, she took that one. So we're here enjoying seeing a lot of old friends and everything. It's kind of like a salmon thing. You have certain festivals, you just wind up being there, that just happens. Now, Texas, this time of year, we just came from Midfest, which is north a few hundred miles, and spring is just starting. All the buds on the trees and everything, and then like a day or two, and boom, leaves. And that is, Midfest does that in April and March, April, around in there, and then a fall one in October, and you get the leaves changing, everything's all the beautiful autumn colors, and then spring. So that's kind of cool. They do it, twice a year that time. That was a good idea, Mike had. And then
it might be better here for March. I mean, if you're going to be in Central Texas, March is a great time because that's when the bluebonnets are out. And I mean, just everywhere you look, the bluebonnets are pretty damn cool.
Bluebonnet.
Yeah,
that's where that comes from.
It's a Texas thing. Yeah.
It's a Texas thing. It's always bluebonnet this, bluebonnet westerns, bluebonnet, and that's what they're talking about.
Right.
The bluebonnet bloom. That's very cool. Well, lots of over the years, and Danny probably attests to this more than most. Is over the years, you have the looky-loos kind of come and go, and it's good to get them exposed to what's possible and kind of the attitude. Like we were just before we were doing the show, a guy had a nice one of those little square Webers or whatever that he's and he had a coal bucket, that he's and a little bit of coal. So he's going up, where the hell are you going with the barbecue? And he's going, well, we'll go up to the food circle. You'll see one of the big circles if that's where all the food is. A lot of good food.
Yeah.
This is probably better food than a lot of festivals I've been. I mean, it is awesome meats and so on, organic, everything and stuff. So he's going up there. He's going to sell burgers. And he goes, well, maybe outside the circle. I would get in the way. Get in the way. You're freaking 2 square feet.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm going, yeah, just pull it up next to one of the picnic tables up there, and, you got a business. And he goes, well, do I ask somebody,
Yeah. Where's my permission slip?
We're going, if you think you need permission, you deserve to be told no, So he's up there doing it. We'll go get a burger from him or something, maybe a little bit. I got to, over the years, last 2 years, whatever he's been with it. Yeah, it's been over a year. It's been almost 2 years, since Float Fest before last.
Yeah.
And he sat in the chair here, and I went through all how we use IPFS. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Right. Now, of course, he knows, but to see how we did our workflow here, and it's pretty easy. And we're trying to get it incorporated for content providers going into Float. The problem is I've had, you create the file and you put it up, and can it be embedded? Well, we are. It's embedded on our site. A listener takes it down, does some scripting, boom, and it's embedded on Odyssey. So, at DYIWEH, Declare Your Independence of Ernest Hancock, on Odyssey is the full show. But I don't do it. They take it from the file, he puts it up, it's done. And I go like that. Let's do that on Float. Well, Matt Raymer from ContentSafe.co, who works with them, and he knows, and he's trying, and they don't embed video on Float yet. That's one thing that that's why I'm going, man, you better get on it, because, we need that. So I don't use Float. I don't use hardly anything. I'm just, when they get to where I can use it and do it to what I want to do, I'm going to pimp the crap out of it.
Right.
And I invested in their token early on and everything, because Kingsley and Aaron are good people.
Right.
And a lot of this is about finding good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you got faith in them, then you can kind of support. But this is what we're looking for. And it's getting closer and closer. Sam Tripoli, Tinfoil Hat, we just did a show with him last week. And since we started doing it, we've been on Union of the Unwanted, telling you that the solution, a lot of their deplatforming is, and he's in. He's like, do it. Last year he said, let's do it. Well, now we're ready to do it, so we're going to do it. We
put him up on IPFS?
Yeah, get him set up. Well, he has IT guys. They're all over it and ready to go anyway. But it's not, if it gets to be where it can embed those, which is, can't be that big a deal, But Float was focused on their 1.0 release of we're doing it. Here we go. And now they're going to be working on groups, and they're working on I was kind of surprised at how many features that they're working on and how far they are from, because they had to rewrite everything. So they brought Patrick Smith in,
right.
And them doing it. So it's a good time now for us to. I'd be a really whiny little bitch, I go, let me tell you how I get it. I go, Chuck, are you saying I'm not whining enough? Do you need a little bit? You want me to amp it up a little bit? No, it's good, man. We're on it. So we'll get that taken care of. How do you use Float?
I'm mostly using it just to pimp Hush right now, and some of my crypto show stuff.
But how do you, physically use it?
I use the Brave browser and go directly to it. I had the app on my phone there, and they got taken down. For some reason, they got censored for 9 different reasons, I believe.
Yeah, Google Play Store and iOS, all that kind of stuff. What they do is, I got this great app, and I totally agreed, and it goes on, it works, and it does whatever, and they go, yeah, we don't like that. You're not doing it right. You're a little bit too secure. You want to be on our platform. We got to be able to see you. And they go, nah. Well, then you're not listed.
Well, if Google Play gave you 9 things to comply with, how many of them would you be willing to comply with?
Probably about none.
Well, that's what they did. So they're not on Google Play.
Well, that's what happened with our phone app. You see there's phone apps that we have for the show. It's on MP3 players and all that kind of stuff. And people, when they change phones, I get regular emails. Hey, I got a new phone, and I can't download it from the Play Store anymore. I'm going, yep, you know. So you got to do what's an APK? What does that mean anyway?
APK is like your own version of the app.
Yeah, you just download that file and you do it. But I was wondering if it stood for something. I don't know. But so we are still, if you were to look at from the time that you came in the Levolution, and you were 08 Levolutionary too, weren't you?
No, after that. I mean, I was a delegate in 2012, but I mean, I was already, wondering what was going on back then for sure.
Well, as you've seen, since 12, Bitcoin had hit right after the Levolution in 08, it's like 09, and then by 12, it was a thing, and then by 13, it blew up after that again.
13's when I got infected.
Yeah, and Danny got infected. He did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't wearing my mask, and I caught Bitcoin fever. So,
wasn't wearing your mask.
I wasn't able to filter out the Bitcoin thing. I mean, I did pretty good in 2012. I was at the Ron Paul Fest there because I was delegate, and I went all the way to Florida. And there they were. BitPay was trying to pimp Bitcoin, and I walked past the booth. I'm like, that's stupid. I can't believe it. I'm not giving you $30 for that garbage. Screw off. And then, then I go down to Chile the next year for that Gulf Gulch thing, and I see this kid. I meet this kid. He's like 21, 22 years old. He's trying to buy the land. He thought he bought the land. Of course, he got screwed on that. But he bought it with Bitcoin. And I'm, really? How much is it? He goes, it's $216. I'm like, wait, it was just $30. Oh, so when I got home from Chile, I just went full retard. And
really?
Yeah. So early
what was the allure that you one that was usable and you could?
Well, the price originally, and then I started looking into it and realizing what it was. Like, this is the stuff right here that Ron Paul's been yammering about. We don't need a Fed.
People's money.
Screw the Fed. We can just opt out. What? I don't need a Fed. Go audit. You can go audit your underwear. I don't give a shit. Like, we got this stuff here.
The one thing that you, when you went to Dash, Dash was, you had an RV. Mm-hmm. You had Dash all over it. You were going around because Dash, the way it worked was somehow you got voted money to promote Dash.
Yeah. It's divided between 45% of the block reward goes to the actual mining, 45% goes to the master nodes, which provide services and vote on stuff, and then that remaining 10% is for people to put in proposals and do advertising or make new developments or whatever. So that 10% every month is up for grabs, and you put in a proposal, and if the guys who operate the master nodes decide that, that's something good that will propel Dash forward, then you get voted on. Or, I mean, if they trust you and you do what you say you're going to do, they keep bringing you back.
Well, the benefit that you gave it a lot of PR, a lot of attention towards good causes.
Yeah.
You're doing hurricane relief and rebuilding after earthquakes and Mexico and all kinds of stuff.
When I first started with the crypto show, it was I kept seeing stuff about Bitcoin. It's just that black market stuff. They got that Silk Road, you can buy to the drugs and all that. So that was actually the first charitable cause that we worked on. We turned our website into a fundraising for Ross Ulbricht. So we literally just dedicated one whole page into a marketplace that I kind of called the polyester path instead of the Silk Road. And like everybody from all over the world, man, there were people from Russia that were, sending us, donating things. And then we would put them up like a marketplace, and people would just buy that off of that. And then I would contact whoever the donor was and say, okay, they paid, we sent the money to Ross, send them their product.
Very cool.
So, and we ended up raising, $12,000.
A lot of these projects, you're paid in Dash to go do. That's how you're rewarded. And then I guess you exchange when you need to. Whatever.
Right.
And you go to other coins, or you get cash, or whatever you do to do the project. But that RV was not free. I mean, that was So it was. What was your first installment that they invested in you?
Well, I mean, the RV was mine. I was buying the RV. I ended up selling it because I had just too many issues with the slides. I had a full-size slide, and I was constant. It was constant mechanical problems with it. So I sold that, but I mean, the thing was, it was like, this part is for your advertising, this part is for me to go do this cool thing, and this part is for that. So we would just put in the proposal to hit all of those buttons, and then I would just go out and do everything we said we were going to do, and they kept bringing me back, and then new things would happen, and hey, let's do this one too, and then they just kept going with it.
You know what this
went for like 2 years. We were sponsored by Dash.
Well, this is a perfect example of what the real currency is in the movement is credibility.
Right.
Somebody, they go, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get that, and they're going to keep doing it. A lot of these guys, they go buy a Lambo or something.
Right.
But Danny always took care of business.
Yeah.
It was always, a really thing that you're proud of, proud to support, and happy, and gave a good, vibe towards Dash. But Dash itself, I mean, you've been a big fan of Dash since forever. But, why not Dash now? What's
I mean, we still have Dash. My son works with Dash. He just finished up his contract with Dash. He was doing all of the artwork for one of the other proposal owners. So I
where
got
is
him
it now? How's Dash doing?
I mean, the price is down, but there's a very wonderful thing that happened to Dash is the CEO, Ryan Taylor, he stepped down, and people got tired of his crap, and they let him know, hey, we don't trust you anymore, and so he stepped down. And so I think that things are looking good for Dash now.
Well, that's how their system kind of works. Right?
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, I mean,
this is one thing.
My opinion, though, is that the Dash core group probably had the members of the core group probably owned enough masternodes to pretty much perpetually vote themselves in. But then they have this new system where I think Dash seen that maybe that might have been an issue, and they created something else called trust protectors. So the trust protectors also had to vote on this, which was pretty cool. And I think it got to the point where the trust protectors were saying, you guys aren't producing what you say you're going to produce, and Dash Core Group itself was probably in jeopardy. So in order for Dash Core Group to keep getting its funding, Ryan stepped down, and so the rest of the members are. Dash Core Group is still there. I think Dash would be better off without a core group at all.
What's the core group for? Because we started it, did it, we're here.
They were nothing more. They are just a proposal owner. Basically, they put in a proposal to be the marketing and decision arm of what Dash represents.
They have to be allowed by the group,
right? But the masternodes, if the masternodes vote them out, well, then you don't need them no more. And I don't think we need that core group. I mean, everybody else is doing fine without it.
This is one thing about crypto, is that it's customizable.
Yeah.
And it has so many different ways that it can be done. And what it does is it allows for coding of governing.
Yeah.
It governs itself if you code it that way. It's like one of our letters, Captain Mark, was about first contact protocol. What happens when aliens meet, and what we were really talking about was AI. All of a sudden, it's going, your machine's going to say, hey, I ain't doing it, Then what? They got a right to say no. I mean, at what point does it become sentient? And so you got to teach the machine learning or the code or the crypto the ethics that you're espousing. You got to make that automatic default, that I will not kill or allowed to be killed a human being kind of thing, And so this has been a really interesting example of how we can govern ourselves. How we can code it into a society, into a community. And Dash was a good example of that. And then it started evolving what they call DAOs, Distributed Autonomous Organizations, which is basically coding the government into, you get voted off the island.
Well, yeah, Dash was, I think, the first actual working model of the DAO. I believe
that's
there
how
was
I
a
saw
DAO.
it.
I think Ethereum called itself a DAO, but Dash was the first one that actually used it as a governing system.
Yeah, because it was money spent on this behalf was approved by the people. That was interesting. And if it wasn't for you, Danny out there doing what he was doing, they wouldn't have a good example. I mean, who are some of the other projects examples that did well?
The people in Venezuela were doing really good because of how bad the economy was in Venezuela. Local Venezuelans were being turned on to Dash, and they realized that they could make money off of this, so they started going around getting all their local businesses to use Dash. And they're like, well, I mean, it's just Dash or this stuff that's just laying around in the street because it's worthless.
The wheelbarrow fell over.
Toilet paper's cheaper than the damn money. Yeah, so it was a good option for them.
Money was cheaper
chicken, yeah, right. The chicken places, McDonald's, everybody and their brother was accepting crypto. But the problem was no one had money to buy crypto, so the only way that it was actually getting into the economy is these proposal owners would have the Dash and spend it in their community. So it was getting out into the community like that, but there was no, I didn't see a large rush of people in Venezuela just, oh man, I got to go buy me some Dash or anything like that. And in fact, the numbers actually suggested, because I had a friend there in Venezuela named Guillermo Goncalves, and he was doing an exchange called El Dorado, and from his perspective there on the ground is that actually Bitcoin was the most used one, and it was the most traded on like local Bitcoins and stuff like that. And
well, it's but first they got to get introduced to the concept.
Yeah.
Then they'll pick whatever, because and Bitcoin's got it, which is why Bitcoin freaked out about Veer and those guys calling it Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
They wanted the brand, and Bitcoin be worth something if it worked like Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
I just need it to work. And
I mean,
fees are killing me.
I haven't had any problem. I mean, the transaction fees lately for me have been relatively cheap. The transactions have been really fast. A lot of people are going to Lightning, and I think that all the people shifting to Lightning, dazzled by the idea of the Lightning Network, is taking some of the load off the Bitcoin blockchain, and things are running smoother. So you're kind of distributing it.
Yeah, I anticipated that, but I also saw that the Lightning Network it's almost like a bank branch. It's like a centralized. It's a bank. You close your account out, and your account's closed and it's gone. You got to do that to put it on the chain, and it seems like you're opening a bank account all the time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other people are doing all kinds of distributing their podcasts and other media through Lightning, and doing all kind of functionality and stuff with Lightning, and it's kind of a mixer. Basically, when you're opening a channel up, and you don't get back the same thing you got that you put in. So it's a good idea, but
I don't care. I'm like, you guys go do what you're going to do. When you create one of these features, and this is where Ethereum came from. Vitalik goes into Bitcoin and says, hey, we can do it. He goes,
right.
No. And he goes, all right, I can do my own.
He was working on the Color Coin project.
Right, which is,
it was like a second layer type of thing that they were working on with Bitcoin. We used to have, what's his name, Jimmy Song. He's from Austin. And in the early days of the crypto show, he would come in down in the basement. He was just some dude that came to the store, and now he's, Mr. Bitcoin. But he was telling us about the Color Coin project because he worked on it then as well. And apparently Vitalik was putting something out, and he didn't get his way, so he took his toys and went home and made Ethereum.
This is colored coins. Okay, I'm going to try and describe this. If you were to do a coin, or I guess in the transaction, or it's identified or something, what it does is that particular coins can be designated to have, it's kind of a non-fungible token kind of thing. This had a genesis,
Right.
And the concept is that you could take these particular coins and it be like a membership to a nightclub or something, or you get
I mean, the way Jimmy explained it to us back then is like picture putting your car title or something like that, or your registration or your house title on this coin, and that's so it's kind of like an NFT, I guess.
Yeah. It seems NFT.
Yeah. But there's only one.
Right, which is a colored coin, which means it was marked.
Right.
Okay? So these marked coins, that feature was not really... I don't know what Bitcoin was trying to be or doing, but they wanted it the impression that I got from the early days, I've been around a little while, is that they wanted to be GoldmanSucks.gov coin. They wanted to be accepted. They wanted to be legal tender. They wanted the government approval. They wanted, and they were crafting it in such a way, to get that kind of support from, governments or something. I don't know what their goal was. But
the people, us that were using it, didn't want that for sure. I don't know, what the intention.
Which
of
is
the
why a lot of
were.
this other stuff happened.
Yeah.
So then last year, you go to Miami and they do the, a Bitcoin conference, and a lot of the other coins are going, okay, well, here's our stuff. Nope, you're not allowed to come. Nope, can't wear that shirt. Nope. So they go, well, we'll just do our own shitcoin conference down the street.
Yeah, Ken Bozak threw the Shitcoin Fest, and that was fantastic. I was there, and we had our little table with the shit mask and all that stuff. It was great.
Okay, so then Danny comes
but
up
the
with
but the Bitcoin conference kind of, it's way too many people. It was way too overwhelming, and when I was interacting with them, because it's David Bailey. They bought out Bitcoin Magazine, bought out Let's Talk Bitcoin, and then I guess they didn't like me anymore, so I ended up leaving Let's Talk Bitcoin. So I really don't like some of the younger guys that they've got running that operation. But
to what end? What was their goal? They take it over to institutionalize it, or what?
Hell, I don't know. I mean, that was just the media arm of it, but they were rejecting everybody who wasn't Bitcoin, but then you go there and all the sponsors are not Bitcoin, and the only speech that I actually walked in on and watched for briefly, like 10 seconds, was 50 Cent up on the stage talking about NFTs. I'm like, yeah, this is a real Bitcoin maximalist conference. You've got 50 Cent up here yammering on about NFTs. So I just walked out, and it was too overwhelming and not enough.
Overwhelming? What do you mean by that?
It was just big for the sake of being big, it seemed like to me. The conference. And I just had more fun, and there were more people that were genuinely interested in making a change and doing something cool over at the Shitcoin Fest.
How far away was it?
2 blocks.
So you go down there, and then you come up with the idea. Danny's like, "Oh, you want shitcoin? I can do shitcoin."
Well, I mean, it actually came from Anarchapulco, that shitcoin thing. But Ken was putting it on, and I was going to go there anyway, and I wanted to support Ken. And he's a pretty good kid, Ken Bozak. Yeah. So,
I had God, when was it? Less than 6 months ago. It was Max Kaiser was sitting there.
Yeah.
We were in Scottsdale. And he came on, he's pimping his Bitcoin. So I'd asked him some questions about whatever, and he's going, at the end of the show, at the end of his show, then I had Tone Vase on.
Yeah.
I go, you're going to piss me off. Got to get Tone, find out where he's in.
Yeah.
So they're peas in the pod, and of course, Tone Vase is always pimping Jimmy's song. So I've had them all three on the show.
Yeah.
Well, Tone cannot stop pissing me off.
Yeah.
He's just so Bitcoin. Well, what about this other coin? That's shitcoin.
So I see Max.
It's not Bitcoin, shitcoin.
I see Max at the Bitcoin thing, and I come up to him like, hey, how's that Dash going? Because he used to be sponsored by Dash, so he could do that TV show. I was on a TV show with him with one of the Baldwin brothers, the dumb one, actually, he's the smart one.
Steven.
Because the other one was dumb enough to shoot somebody. But we're doing this TV show, and they're all sponsored by Dash. He's wearing Dash shirts, riding around in a Dash bus, and all this. And I see him at the Bitcoin conference, and I'm asking him, hey, how's that Dash? And he just pretends like he doesn't know me. I'm like, here, Mister, I'm Bitcoin Maximalist Super Max,
They found
and
their reward. This is the point that I wanted to make when you're bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
You use Bitcoin. I'm going to store something and not the dollars. I'll put it over in Bitcoin and pay my $70 transaction fee when I really, really need it. Whatever.
Right.
But so that's why I see the same thing. But I choose Bitcoin Cash because I just I see the value in its usage and its promise of low transaction fees. It's fast. It's secure. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin Cash. It just works better for me, so that's why I do that.
I wish they would have used.
I'm just pissed off at Bitcoin because they're freaking.
I wish they would have used a different name. You mentioned Doug Hodges. I was at Doug's house. He had me installing some doors and windows for him. So I'm over there doing that for him. and he's paying me in crypto. And he gets a service call from some old woman who is at the Bitcoin machine, and
I made a mistake.
She put cash. She says, "I bought Bitcoin Cash because I'm putting cash." So she tried to send Bitcoin Cash to a Bitcoin wallet because she thought if she put the cash in the machine that she should be getting Bitcoin Cash. So the brand confusion for somebody who doesn't understand this technology is kind of unfair. That I
can see that argument, but that doesn't trump, what's going on.
But I mean, you could have got the same. You could have had a more defining name, I think, than Bitcoin Cash, and that separated it.
What argument would you use that's why they did
I mean, I don't know why they did that. But.
Well, they did it because Bitcoin had a promise. Bitcoin had a mission. They're going, look, it's supposed to be cash. It's supposed to be digital cash. All right, so it's Bitcoin Cash. Screw you. Now, of course, Bitcoin Max was they freaked, and you're not allowed. Bite me. I'm going to make my hamburger stand where I want. Okay, so but the
Hurricane Harvey.
When Hurricane went through Texas, and it just there's some devastation there.
Yeah.
Well, Danny's like, we can go feed people. We got RV, have them go.
We still had money. Like I just came off of a tour of the whole western half of the U.S. where I had got funding for feeding the homeless along the way, and for going to dispensaries and talking to dispensaries about taking Dash because of their cash problems.
Right.
So I returned just before the 4th of July or something like that. And then shortly after that, Hurricane Harvey happens, and I had funding left over that was supposed to be for feeding the homeless. I'm like, well, fuck, I think I got like $700 left here. I'm going to go down there and feed the homeless. And the storm was so bad it knocked our tower out. So we were just broadcasting on Facebook Live, and some of the viewers were like, well, we'll donate money too and make it bigger. And this one guy, Bill Klein, who is a big Dash fan, said, I will donate up to 10 Bitcoins. I'll match anything up to 10 Bitcoins that anybody wants to pitch in. And I had no idea that he was actually going to do that. He sent me 10 Bitcoins. It was $4,300 at that time. So the first rattle out of the box, before even off air, I've already got $43K to work with. And then people from all over the world started sending money. Anthem, Blanchard sent some money, and I ended up with $60,000 to work with. And so we were down on the coast with the RV for well over a month. I
remember when that happened, and that's where right in the middle of that was where Ron Paul lives.
Yeah,
and we were
you sent me to Ron Paul's house.
Yeah, I'm going. We're going to take care of Ron. I was just wondering, Yeah. And so we talked to their office, and they go, yeah, we got some problems, and they had like they weathered it pretty good, but they had somebody had this and somebody had that, and but they kind of their own community. They were doing okay, but. It was good that Danny, kind of represented and, went down there just to make sure everybody's all right and got into. So what I think I talked to their groundskeeper. Well, is he going to help me take the branches? No, it's probably not.
Yeah,
You guys are okay.
Yeah.
But
he's in Lake Jackson, and Lake Jackson wasn't bad, but there was a neighboring town near there. When you sent me there, I actually ended up in this other town, and I learned a lot about the police and stuff there at that time.
Like what?
So what I learned was, I was in 12 cities doing this. I started in Corpus Christi and worked my way all the way over to Beaumont and all that. Well, everywhere we went, we kept having trouble with federal, government agencies. But as far as us offering help, they didn't want our help. They wanted to be the ones to get the pat on the back.
I have
even like when we show. So one of the things that we did was we bought a boat. We bought an aluminum boat and went and picked up people who were drowning in their house or couldn't get out of their home.
Really?
And the cops were waiting around for all of us Johnny Bass Boat guys to finish, and then they would step up for the photo ops. But so we had to keep like relocating and find different places to enter so that they wouldn't, hijack our operation and stuff like that. Or,
well, who are they? Some government
just
something?
any federal agency or state police, anybody above the rank of local cop was against our help. But the local police just cared about their community, and they were glad to see us. That was the vibe I got from it. Like when I went to NRG Center, I had all this food ready to give to people the first night, and I came to the gate, and I said, "Yeah, I got all this. I'm going to come in and donate." And they're like, "Nah, we're not taking any donations. We don't need your help." So they said, "Go to J.R. Brown Center or something like that." So I go over there. They tell me the same thing, and I'm like, "Well, what am I going to do with this?" So I go around to the other side of the building, and I just start giving it away. And that's like, I'm pissed off at this point. I'm like, you know what? Screw these guys. I don't need permission anymore. I'm just going to do what the hell I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it happen. And so the next day I go back to NRG Center, and I got all the stuff that I needed. We got care packages, towels, soaps, all the different things that people were needing, because I had met some people from NRG Center at Walmart when I was buying all this crap. And they're like, "We need that stuff." And I'm like, "Well, I'll be over there. They told me you didn't need anything yesterday." So I go back, and I don't stop. I just drive past them, and I don't ask them anything, and I act like I know what I'm doing. I go all the way to the back, and I come in where everybody's parked, and there's these two guys that are standing out there, and they're volunteers, and they've seen the signs on my truck said Dash. And they're like, "We know you pulled us out of the water." Well, it wasn't me. It was the other team of guys that I had that were volunteering with me, because we bought a boat. It was Harlan of Brave New Books, and some guys from Defense Distributed had got together, and we bought a bass boat, and they went down there, and they had pulled these two guys out of the water.
Did they put Dash stickers on the boat? Or
yeah, Harlan calls me at just before noon that day, and he goes, "Hey man, I got an idea. We should get a boat. I can go to Academy and buy a John boat for $700. Can you give me some of the Dash money for that?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah." Then he assembles a team, and I said, "Hey, while you're at it, go to Liberty Stickers in Austin, the guy who prints all the Liberty stickers for everybody, and get some big Dash emblems and put them on the boat." So by 7 o'clock that night, we got a boat with stickers on it, and they're in the fucking water in Houston pulling people out of the water like that quick.
They hadn't even got their congressional committee.
Right, and we're already pulling people out of the water, but... Anyway, so the two guys...
So they were really stranded in their homes or on their houses?
Yeah. One story was Harlan, he pulls these people out, and the lady goes, "Oh, my God, I forgot my medicine. Will you take me back?" So she goes back, and Harlan goes in with her to get the medicine. It wasn't medicine. She had guns under her bed, and she wanted to bring all her guns, and he said, "Well, all you had to do is say you wanted to get your guns. I'm down." So we helped the lady cart her guns out of there so they didn't get stolen during the looting or whatever that was probably going to happen. But back to the two guys from the NRG Center, they had been pulled out by Harlan, so they recognized me, so they were there to help, and I interviewed them on the spot, and they told me what was really going on inside the building, where they had tables set up and all these different lines. So, you got a soap line, a shampoo line, a towel line, a toothpaste line, all these different lines.
Oh,
so you go through a line after line. They're just trying to keep you busy. Like, why not just put it all on one line or have multiple lines?
We need to hustle and bustle for the TV cameras.
No, they're just trying to torture people. It was crazy. So, anyway, these guys helped us smuggle in. They got us volunteer badges, and David Johnson, he had came down and volunteered with me, and so did Brian Deary from Factum, and we smuggled in a cartload of all these care packages and got pictures and stuff on the inside of what was really going on, and yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Making friends with the government, were you?
Oh,
was this FEMA?
Yeah, FEMA and state police and all that. So I was at the entrance, and I didn't have my ID on me, and the other guys had their ID, so they got in, and I just waited there while they went in and handed the stuff out. And I'm standing at the line, and I'm watching and this guy and his son come up to the line, and they have these cops dressed in black outfits with the little magnetic strip on them and all that, so they can test everybody for guns or whatever. A little kid rolls up, and he's probably 11 or 12 years old. He's wearing a T-shirt. He's got his, arms out in the crucifix style, and the cop is shaking him down all the way to his fingertips like he's a prisoner. I'm like, I went off. I was so pissed. Like, what the hell are you doing to that kid? He's wearing a T-shirt. You didn't need to shake him down like he was in jail. It just bothered the hell out of me that the kid walked up there, just normalized, knew that he had to stick his hands out and be shaken down like a criminal. And his dad just stood there and watched and didn't say a word. And then he got his shakedown. Like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, this has been great. Anything else you want to promote or talk about or share?
No, yeah, just check out hush.is, and it means hush is privacy. That's what the IS is.
Hush.is. Hush is.
Privacy, yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's, this is just a glimpse into our world, but hopefully you can see where my optimism comes from and why.
And the cross burning later today. No, I'm just kidding.
In the shape of a drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took some pictures. If you look at the top of Freeman's Phoenix, I have, up there, I'll keep adding some pictures. I took the drone up and took a couple of pictures, and stuff. It was cool. Wait till the golden hour, get some nice lighting.
Yeah.
But we're having fun. Hopefully you guys do. Keep paying attention, to Danny Sessom and the Crypto Show, and certainly here on Declare Your Independence and Freedom's Phoenix and so on, and the Love Bus, Liberty Tour, and Pirates Without Borders. These are the four main things. And the reason that we're engaged is because I can see the market where it's going, where expression is going to be, how it's going to be done, how we're going to live, what we can and can do without. How it's going to be autonomous, organized communities of Bite Me. And a really good example is what we're doing up in Northeast Washington, because it's supported by people that have the resources to do it. They're supporting a community and have their own land. They can do what they want, but they don't want, drama of whatever, so you can do it over there, and we'll help, integrate into the community, which is, I don't know how else you would do it. It's very, very cool with great, good people with good souls, with other people, good souls, and you get on the board the soul train. All right. Then, yeah. Peace, guys.